All right, then we are here with Leandro.
Hi,
Uh,
everybody.
hey, I actually know Leandro. Uh, he was my student. I could say that
Cultura inglesa.
yeah, at Cultura Inglesa. Uh, I don't look old, I know, but yeah, there we are.
No, it's okay, man.
How old
You
were
look
you when?
fantastic.
Yeah, how old were you when you were my student? You were about
I actually it
15?
was in 2012, if I remember
Okay.
well. I was like 15, something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. That was I thought.
And now
Okay,
I'm like with I'm 25 now, so 10 years later,
okay.
we're gonna
Yeah,
have the same conversation.
10 years later we meet again.
Yeah,
And Leandro, you're now living in France.
that's it.
Okay, and where in France do you live?
I live in a city called Brest.
Okay,
It's a city very known because it rains a
I
lot
live in
here.
Brest.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the name of the city is Brest, and it's in the littoral part of France. I like here,
Okay.
but it rains a lot, so the weather is something
Oh,
very different from Recife. Yeah,
okay. And how long have you been living in Brest?
I'm here since 2017,
Okay,
so I'm gonna say it's like 1, 3, yeah, 5 years more or less.
5 years.
Mm,
That's quite some time.
that's quite some time. I have a lot of stories to tell.
That's good. That's good. And we love to listen to stories. Uh, and as you can see, his English is fantastic, even though he speaks in French most of his days.
I think that nowadays my French is better than my English, but
Okay,
it's because I see everybody here and then I have to talk in French to everybody.
okay.
So my life is like in French now.
It makes sense. It makes
Mm.
sense. And I watch your stories sometimes, and I'll see French words, and I said, okay, let's keep that.
But yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. A lot of
And
things have changed.
my first question to you, Leandro, is why France? Why did you decide to go to France? What's
So
the story there?
it's an interesting thing to tell because actually in 2017 we have to go back to Brazil in
Okay.
2017. I was like in my university UFP studying with my friends, my partners in crime, let me say like that,
Okay.
because we used to be very close friends. And they applied to a scholarship.
Oh,
And
cool.
then it was in the beginning of the selective process. And I was like, yeah, they are applying, but I'm not applying. So I think it would be good if I go with them because in Brazil we used to be very close friends. And then I was
Uh-huh.
like, I'm not gonna be alone. So, and I would like to study abroad one day in my life. Actually, in my mind, it was something that I thought since I was a kid. But I would like to see. I would like to go to English countries. You see,
Okay.
because I used to study English in Brazil,
Yes.
and then the opportunity to come to France happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna apply for it. I'm gonna give my CV and my letter of motivation, and I'm gonna see what happens. And at the end of the process they said to me, oh, Leandro, actually you can go to the university in France, but you forgot to give to us the certification, the French certificate. And I was like,
Okay.
no, I didn't forget it.
I don't
It's
have
just
it.
because I don't have it.
All right.
So that was a point. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't expecting it, so it happened very fastly in my life, and I passed it like 3 months studying French in order to get a B1 certification. So I
Wow.
struggled a little bit, but
Okay,
then
you had no French before.
not at all. I didn't know how to write bonjour
Okay, and
at that time. Yeah,
in 3 months you had to get a B1 certificate.
I was like, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna study because that's what I want, and I think it's gonna change a lot of things in my life, which was true because nowadays I can see it was a very good opportunity.
Yes.
And then I remember the day that I took the test. I was very stressed because it was like French from France and French from Quebec,
Okay,
and they have
are they very different?
they are they are the
Oh,
accent, the words, some
okay.
words they change a lot. But it was a
Okay.
mix between French and English, so some words I could understand very easily,
Okay.
but other words I was struggling a little bit in the test.
All right.
And
Did you
then I
take this
finished.
test in Recife or in France?
It was in Recife because I couldn't actually I couldn't travel to France without having the certification.
Ah, okay.
So
Oh,
that
many
was
things were in
something.
line.
Yeah. Actually, it was not something optional. It was something that I needed to have.
It was mandatory.
Yeah, it was mandatory. And I took the test. When I ended the test, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to my parents to say it was not very good. And then the day I got my certificate, I was thinking about, yeah, my friends are gonna go, but I'm gonna be here, but it's gonna be okay. And it was like B1 in my certification, which was
Wow,
the grade necessary to go to France.
that's cool. In 3 months, man, you are an smart ass because to get a B1 certificate in 3 months is not easy for any language. For
I
any language.
yeah, I
From
don't take
zero
it
to
like
hero.
yeah, yeah. I don't take it like something that people have to copy because I think that
Mhm.
if I prepared myself better, I the probabilities of being okay with that would be very higher, you know?
Yeah, they will be much higher. Yeah, and it's something that I don't encourage anyone to try to do
Yeah,
because it's not easy at all,
no.
and it's not something that many people can do. uh, those promises that some teachers have of, okay, you be fluent in 3 months, you fluent in 4 months, that's not how it happens normally. We have some special cases just like Leandro here, but it's not something very natural, not common. Yeah.
But what you are saying is very, very correct because actually I prepared myself to this test specifically.
Okay.
So it's something that has to be highlighted because I was preparing myself to that test with a teacher that was just with me.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's special. It's not
Yeah.
something. At the end of the test, I couldn't say I was able to speak French in a B1 level. You know,
Okay.
I know it because I used it to study English in Brazil, and I know the B1 level of English.
Hmm.
So it was just to get my certification, and then I got it, and then I arrived in France, and I was when I arrived in France, I was very sure that I didn't have the B1 level because I struggled to do a lot of things, a lot of easy things in normal life. I was like, yeah, now I'm alone and I have to learn it. I have to learn French. Otherwise, I'm not gonna survive here.
Okay, now take me back to that moment when you got the certificate. You got the certificate, you saw, okay, it's B1, it's official, I'm going to France. All my
Yeah,
friends are coming with me.
yeah.
What did you feel at that moment? What were the plans?
In that day, because I was with my friends to get the certification, like we got the paper together, the
Okay.
papers, and we said it to ourselves. Now we're gonna go to McDonald's to party a little bit, and we went to
Yes.
McDonald's and we stayed there discussing a lot of things in life. It was fantastic. It was
Okay.
really awesome. I just don't have words to describe the moment. You see.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And then you got the papers from the university and you
Yeah.
bought your tickets. Did you all travel together?
No, we didn't travel together
Okay.
because we had a lot of things that were not in common. So
Okay.
like, yeah, because what I was passing was not the same thing that my friends were passing.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we have to go to a rendezvous, as we say in French and as we say in English too,
In English.
um, in Brasilia, and
Okay.
the dates of the rendezvous were not the same in order to get the visa.
Okay.
And since the dates were not the same, the visas wouldn't arrive at the same date, and then we couldn't travel together because we
Okay.
had different appointments.
Okay. So you traveled by yourself. How old were
I
you
traveled by
then?
myself. When I traveled, I was 21, 21.
Okay. 21 years old. Was it your first trip abroad?
It was my first trip abroad. I traveled before, but in Brazil, just
Okay.
to a state to another one. But it was my first trip, international trip, let's say like that.
Okay. Your first international trip, you did all by yourself.
Yeah,
How was that trip?
it was it was long. That's what I can say to you. Because like 11 hours flying, it's not
Yes.
something that I was used to.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I got used to it because I do it quite a lot to come back to
Okay.
Brazil to see my parents, like during Christmas time and New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I got used to it, but I don't like it. Yeah.
Really, it's being honest with you, one of my favorite things while traveling abroad is the long flights.
Oh, really? Why do you like it?
Really. Um, it's quite some time when you don't have anything specific to do and you
Yeah.
can put lots of thoughts on yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can just in between sleeps, you can think about yourself, your life, what are your plans. You can put some thinking in place.
Okay. Are you the kind of guy who watches a lot of series and a lot of movies during the flight? Because I am that
Uh,
kind of guy.
I don't really pay attention to the movies and
Okay.
series. I just put them
Okay.
there and I go on. It's not something that I
Okay.
really pay attention to. Yeah. But I do think a lot during flights. I'm that guy. I in 2019, right before the pandemic, I did uh pretty much 1 month traveling through Europe all by myself.
Okay.
So just me and myself thinking about life, going around the countries. It was pretty good.
How many countries did you visit
On
in your
that
opinion?
specific on in that specific trip, uh, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, Portugal, and England. So six. Didn't go
Yeah.
to France though. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You know that they have a TGV. TGV is the fast train that we get between Paris and London, and then you could get it.
I actually took, you're gonna hate me now. I actually got the train from Amsterdam to Brussels and then
Yeah,
from Brussels to London. I
to
could
London.
have gotten the train from Brussels to Paris and then stay 1 day in Paris and from Paris to London, but I didn't.
That would be awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Andrew. Okay, but let's go. You're a 21-year-old guy
21. Yeah.
traveling by yourself and you arrived in France. How
Yeah.
was that experience?
Oh, when I arrived at the airport, I was like, now I need to get a taxi because I have all my bags with me, my huge bags with me,
Huh?
and I wasn't able to speak a word in French. I tried hard, but then I tried to speak in English too, and they couldn't understand me.
Yeah, and let's be honest, French people, they don't like English so much.
Yeah, I
The
think they don't like to.
experiences, the experiences I had in France, in French, they were not very good because every time I tried to speak uh, English to a Frenchman, they would understand me and they would reply in French.
Yeah, yeah, because they have some historical things between
Yes,
England and
yes.
France. I can understand it, but also they have a different accent, so they are
Okay.
not very proud of the accent they have. To me, it's not a problem. To me, if you speak and I can understand you, it's very well, very good. The communication was done,
Yeah.
but they have this kind of stuff. I don't know why. And then coming back to the story, when I was at the airport and I could get a taxi, the taxi driver asked me if I was there to see Neymar. Because when I went to, yeah, because when I came to France, it was at the same time as Neymar, because Neymar was joining Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay.
And I was like, no man, I'm not here to see Neymar. Even though that would be funny too, but I'm not here to that.
Okay. All right.
And
When you arrived, did you have a place to stay already?
s- n- more or less,
Mm,
let me
okay.
tell you the story. Actually,
Yeah,
the
tell me the
scholarship
story.
that the government gives to us, because I came with the Braftech exchange program. So
Okay.
it's an exchanging program between the government of Brazil and the French government.
Oh, cool.
They gave us the money uh, to to pass the months here. So it was up to us to decide what we could do with that money actually. And then I remember that when I was in Brazil, I tried to rent an apartment, but I couldn't. And then
Okay.
I had some friends here, and they said to me, "Okay, you can stay with us for a month or for 2 months, and then you can see what you can find if you can rent
Mhm.
an apartment." But I remember that the first day I arrived here in Brest, it was raining a lot, and I cried. I cried because it's something that happens. I was like 21 years old, not with my parents. I'm the only child. Child.
Yes.
And different experiences. I was not prepared to all these emotions together. You see, but then I picked myself, the pieces of myself, and then I said, now it's time to become a man
Yes.
and to solve my things alone. And then I was like with them just for a month in the apartment. They used it to share. And after that, I could find my own apartment.
Oh, cool.
It was easy, yeah. Because here they don't have a lot of problems in the city that I'm living right now. They don't have a lot of problems with this kind of stuff, renting apartments. So they have
Okay.
a lot of apartments to not a lot of people, let's say like that.
Okay. So the demand
And
is very low.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was okay for me. And me and my two friends from Brazil, we lived together in that apartment. So we
Okay.
were roommates. Yeah,
Okay. Best friends in Brazil, roommates in France.
that's it.
Okay. And how was your first day at the university?
My first day at the university was to do the French courses because foreign students, international students, they have these French courses here, which is good, is very good because and I think that's in Brazil they should do it too to the international students because like that they can socialize very fastly, very easily with
Mm-hmm.
the people. And it was okay, the French courses. And then I remember that the first course that I had after that was the finite element courses, the course of finite elements.
Okay.
And that was a problem, yeah, because math in Portuguese is difficult, math in French is in another world, you know.
Come
So
on, isn't it just numbers?
yeah, it's no, they are numbers, but the way that they solve the equations is different. So the theories
Oh,
they change, the practical work they change too, the practical works that we do here.
okay.
So it's something that's not very common,
Uh-huh.
and I struggled a little bit, but then it was just for a period of time. After that, I was, come on, let's go. Just give me math and it's gonna be okay.
Okay. And how long did you live with your friends?
We lived together for a year because after that we here in France we have two internships. So we have the summer internship, the summer break, and that's why I lived with them for a year because after that I went to Germany to do my internship there. And
Okay.
then I came back to France and I lived with other Brazilians,
Oh, okay.
renting another apartment.
Okay.
So
So so you
again, because of
you
the dates.
all right. So you stayed okay, so you lived in Germany as well.
Yeah,
Okay. How was that experience?
it was fantastic, fantastic because they speak English very well, and that was one of the criteria to go there to do this internship.
Okay.
English was mandatory, and they said to me that they could understand me very well, so they picked me. And my first day of work, it was something different, let's say like that, because when I arrived at the university, because it was in a military university that I
Okay.
did my internship in Germany, I missed the bus stop, you know. So
Oh
and
man.
then, uh, uh, but the surface of the university is very big. And I said to myself, yeah, I can enter because there was a gate, an electronic gate that
Okay.
leads to the parking. And I was like, I'm just gonna go under it and I'm gonna enter.
No, in a military university
That
especially.
you got it.
Don't
so
don't do it, people.
so they
Don't
came
mess with
to me.
military.
Yeah, they came to me with a lot of cars, and I was like, "What's happening? Please, someone can explain to me what's happening here. Anyone? Does
Guys, I'm
anyone know?"
Brazilian.
Yeah, that's it. And they said to me, "Show me your passport." And I showed it. "What are you doing here?" And then I said, "I'm here to do an internship." "With who?" Then I said the name of the person. And then they looked at me in a very rude way and they said, "Do you know what you just done? What you've just done?" And I was like, "No, what did I do?" So it's a military area. You entered as a Brazilian and you didn't ask for permission.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, now I see. But then they laughed so hard after it. They laughed a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Because they said, we've been we've been trying to protect this place with a lot of plans. We have a
Yeah.
lot of military plans to protect the zone. But then you just entered going under a gate,
Like the
which
most
is
simple way.
which is something that we should have taken into account. And I was like,
Just go under. It's so easy.
yeah, that's why they laughed a lot after it.
Yeah. It's a good thing they laughed.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then I made a lot of friends there, military friends too. that are
Okay.
friends still now with. So I talk to them a lot. We travel
Mhm.
together, and that's it.
Okay.
That's what I found. That's what I find fantastic about this experience, is that you live a piece of yourself with this kind of people too. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. That's the wonderful thing about traveling. You
Yeah.
always take something with you, and you always
And you
leave
also give. Yeah.
a little bit of yourself. It's a very huge sharing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so you went after Germany. Okay,
After
we
Germany.
are
Yeah.
right after Germany. You went back
Yeah.
to everything was all right in Germany. You lived, you rented a place
Well,
there as well.
I rented a. Yeah. 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 So I was living with another Brazilian, a girl this time, and she was very cool with me. She was very nice, kind.
Okay, so you
So we
you
lived together.
you met lots of Brazilians, as I can tell.
Yeah, a lot of Brazilians, but also a lot of people from the places too.
Okay, yeah, but there's what is fun. It's something I always tell everyone. Everyone that knows me has heard that before. There are only three things you can find anywhere in the world. Only three things that anywhere you go, you can find the smallest town to the biggest city. McDonald's, you can find
Yeah,
McDonald's everywhere you go. Doves, you can find doves everywhere. All the countries have doves. Is the right of the air. And the third thing are Brazilians. You can
yeah,
find Brazilians ever. Just
everywhere.
yes, just yesterday I was telling my dad this story. I lived in Minnesota,
Yeah,
so I studied high school in Minnesota, and my first class on my first day going there, it was biology. So
biology.
as I entered the biology classroom, I saw a huge Brazilian flag by the teacher's chair, like on the wall, but by the chair. And I thought to myself, and I think I actually said it, like, oh, they know that I'm coming. They put a Brazilian flag because of me. I'm so happy.
You felt
And
important.
yes, and the city I was studying at, it was like 16,000 people living there. So pretty tiny. And I thought, all right, so they really thought about me. That's good. They know who I am. And then I saw that the teacher was Brazilian.
Man, which is
Yeah,
something very usual. I mean, it's not something unusual. You can find a lot of Brazilians teaching in the universities here too.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know why it happens, but we have a community living abroad that is huge, huge.
Uh, That it's the same reason why I'm doing these podcasts. People don't want to live in Brazil anymore.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
the tendency is for Brazil to be a desert with
Oh,
no people at all because everyone wants to go out of here.
yeah.
Yeah.
In my case, it was something natural. It was
Hmm.
not something that I forced myself to do it. It was not on my plans. It
Yeah.
happened. It just happened
Yeah.
in the right
Which is
time, the
cool.
correct place. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. The correct time, the correct place. It's not something
yeah,
that is not usually this fast and is not usually this simple. But it's
yeah,
very good to know that things can be like that as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that education is something very. Let me find words to describe it, but it's something very. I'm gonna say good, but good is not enough. You know, it's perfect actually to move from a place to another one, and
Yes.
not only geographically speaking,
Hmm.
socially speaking too.
Exactly. Well said.
So I think that's the great util that you can have. in order to move from a place to another one
Yes.
without forcing, without because I think that if you spread up to the university positivity, you are gonna receive it. So
Exactly.
mm,
I
it
completely believe in that, Leandro. That the
yeah,
energy that you share, the energy that you give, you're gonna receive back.
the energy you're gonna receive. Yeah,
Yeah. When you finished, you finished university, right?
I finished the university here in France. Yeah, I did my last internship in 2019 in
Okay.
a company very big here. Which I think that Brazil, yeah, you also have it is Stellantis. Do you know Stellantis like Peugeot, Citroën, that now is
Oh,
Fiat,
okay,
Jeep?
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I did my last internship there, and then before coming back to Brazil, they said to me, "Oh, would you like to do to be a doctoral student?" I was like, "Yeah, it would be fun. It would be good. I just would like to see the subject of the of the research." And then they said it to me, and it was something that I would love to study before when I was in Brazil, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like everything is happening in a way that I couldn't imagine, but just happening. Then I said, of course I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Numerical
Okay.
simulation is something that I love, that I adore. When I pass my time in front of the computer doing numerical simulations, I enjoy myself, you see?
Okay. And
So
that's very important to do what you love.
yeah,
Yeah. So and things just go according to plan when it has to be. Yeah.
yeah. And so
Uh
that was the beginning of my journey in being a PhD student.
okay. Tell me we all have those stories. It's actually the first I'm thinking about it now, and I
Yeah,
didn't ask to any of the previous podcasters,
go
but
ahead.
what what kind of stories as a
Yeah.
person being as a Brazilian being abroad, let's be clear about it. What are the perrengues
The
that
perrengues.
you got?
You see, being Brazilian is an asset, I think, because they love Brazilians.
Yeah.
They really love us. When I say I'm Brazilian, the doors they open to me,
Okay.
and because they think that we are very productive, we are very positive, and we know how to talk to people,
Yes.
and they love it. But then we also have some perrengues, which is not linked to the nationality itself,
Mm-mm.
which is linked more to the to the language, I would say. You see,
Okay.
so when I arrived in France, I didn't know how to speak French very well, so I had a lot of problems with the bank, uh, with the renting of the apartment I was renting, and it was just a matter of time actually. If you study the language and if you try to find people who is not only, I mean, if you talk to Brazilians, you are just gonna talk in Portuguese and you are just gonna meet Brazilians. But then
Yes.
if you talk to people who are not Brazilians, it can be French people, it can be, I don't know, Canadian people. You are gonna make some new friends and you are gonna be in touch with different cultures.
That's
And
very
then like
important.
that, the problems they can become very small, you see?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because when you have an army of friends behind you, everything
Things
is huh?
things get easier.
Yeah, everything gets easier.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, and how is France culturally different from Brazil?
Oh, the
What
food
are the
is
culture
something that I have
shocks?
to speak about it. The food,
Okay.
first of all. But the food is something that a lot of people talk about it. I
Do
mean,
you prefer
salty.
Brazilian or French food? Food.
I, I love salty food from Brazil.
Okay.
We do it like no other. Like
Okay.
salty food is with Brazilians.
Yeah.
But then,
Savory. Savory. Salty is like with a lot of salt. We say
okay,
savory. Savory food.
savory
Yeah.
food is with Brazilians. And if you would like to take some desserts, it's in France.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They do it like no other here.
Okay.
They just mix flavors and it's awesome. I don't know how they do that, but you don't feel heavy after eating it.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And apart from the food, what did you find different?
So the weather,
Okay.
it rains a lot here, and the seasons they are very well defined. Like if it's summer, the sun is there. If it's winter, you're not gonna see the sun for a while.
Mm-hmm.
We have this difference. So the food, the weather, the way the people talk to each other, it changes a lot too. Because Brazilians they love giving hugs. You see,
Yeah,
we are
warmer.
very touchable.
Yeah.
We love touching people, but then here you can't arrive doing that.
Okay.
Otherwise, the other person is gonna say, "Oh, wait, just give me a distance. That's my personal space." And it's not because they are being rude. It's just because for them it's not something normal. You see?
Yeah. It's their culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me see. A lot of things change actually, but I'm gonna stick with these three
Okay.
because they are the most different ones.
What is something that you miss from Brazil in France?
My family, my family. Yeah,
Okay.
my family because, for example, yesterday, not yesterday, but before yesterday, it was the birthday of my mother,
Okay.
and I wasn't in Brazil to see that moment. So
Yeah.
some moments like that we're gonna lose, but it's necessary.
Yes. With every growth, there is pain.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you have just you to figure out if that pain is worth the growing. So
yeah, that's it.
you're gonna have to do your thinking. Is it worth it? Then do it.
Or
If
not?
it's not worth,
Yeah.
don't do it. Yeah, as simple as
Yeah.
that. And what is something that you are like you only have in France or that you don't have in Brazil that you're very happy with?
Oh, I'm gonna say something that is not very, very. Um, it's something very useless, but I like
Okay.
it a lot, which is the SIM card of the cell phone because we have a lot of internet here. We have
Okay.
like 200 gigabytes with my
Oh,
plan of
okay.
internet, and I don't pay a lot, but it's something that if we had it in Brazil, it would be awesome.
Yes.
We also have here the probability to travel to a place to another that is very different. I mean, you can switch languages just by taking a train from Paris to London.
Yeah.
It's something that we don't have in Brazil because Brazil is huge.
Yeah.
Brazil is very
And
big.
it's not expensive. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
it is not no, 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 no. It's
Yeah.
not expensive. Traveling here is something very affordable, I would say.
Yes.
And I also have other things to say, but yeah, I think this one, yeah, traveling, the SIM card, the yeah, the I also can say that here in France we have more opportunities linked to the work that we do.
Okay.
Um, the universities here they have a lot of partnership with the industrial part,
Mhm.
and I can stay in touch with a lot of people from every single country of the world. So that's something that in
That's something.
Brazil I didn't live it. Let's say like that.
Yeah.
When I was studying at UFP, I didn't see a lot of foreign students. No.
That's cool. That's good. And people may say, "Oh, that's because you're in Europe. In Europe, you have many countries." Okay, there is these to account, but if you check other countries in the world, other countries, other universities in the world, if you go for universities in the US, if you go for universities in Canada, you're gonna see lots of foreign students because there is always going to be this exchange of knowledge between
Yeah,
universities in the world. And
yeah,
it's not very common here in Brazil. We do have some, but it's very little.
yeah. I agree with you. So that's a
Yeah.
point. That's something that I would love seeing the change in the future
Mhm.
because I grew up a lot staying in touch with that kind of people.
Yes. What would be your advice to someone who's watching us now and is thinking, okay, I don't know, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't go?
Just go. Just go and see what happens. Because if you don't like it, I mean, save the money to to come back if nothing works.
Okay.
But you have to put your feet into the ocean if you want to swim. So come on, just go ahead and experience yourself and then take the conclusions yourself. Because if you just stay in Brazil seeing seeing other people's advice or listening to other people's advice, maybe they don't fit you. Maybe these advice they are not for you because you are unique, so you have to experience it yourself. Just go and see. You
Great
have nothing to
advice.
lose. I mean, you have nothing to lose, just money. And money is a
Yeah.
thing that we can earn living, I mean, working monthly, and then you get the money back. But you lived an experience that nobody's gonna take it from you.
Exactly. If that's your dream, go for it. Try it.
Yeah.
Live it.
And also, if you just have the curiosity, if it's not your dream, but you are curious to know, just go. Just go, just see, just experience it yourself and see what
Yes.
happens. We never know what life is gonna give to us.
Exactly. There's always something that we don't know what's going to happen. The future is not ours.
Yeah, yeah.
Future is not ours. Uh,
Um, yeah.
is there anything else you would like to share with us, Leandro?
I just would like to say that it was a big pleasure.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you again. So
Very nice to see you, man.
say hi to your wife too, because now you are
Yes.
a married man.
I'm a married man. I'm a married man. Yes.
She was very kind to me when she texted me
Yeah.
to find out the time that I was free to talk to
Yeah.
you.
She's lovely.
So say hi to her.
Yeah.
So nice to see you, man. To the people
Yeah.
who is watching, just go. If you wanna go, just go. Just take the tickets today. I mean, no, not like that too. But then organize yourself, save up some money, and just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And if nothing works, you can always come back.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Leandro. It was very, very nice to see you again, to talk to you again.
I
Uh,
don't know if my level of English is good enough. Is it
ah,
still good enough?
come on. You said something that I believe in. When I started this podcast idea, people often said, "Okay, it's better to do just with English teachers." So, and I said, "No, I want the real English. I want the English that people speak in the world. It's not that perfect English that people have." And I believe, and it's me personally, I believe that if you can communicate, if you can talk, if you can understand, you speak English. You don't need to
Yeah,
be that perfect person that we see in exams. And it was very good that you mentioned that. Okay, I took a B1 certificate and I didn't know how to speak French
yeah,
because certificates don't say anything,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, and
And
actually this year I got my C1, so it shows that if we study, we can arrive whenever wherever we want, you know. So it's
Yes.
just a matter of time. Just give time to the time, and then the things are gonna come.
Great, great. Thank you once again, Leandro.
Man, it was a pleasure. So
Yeah.
see you guys and have a nice day.
Yeah, bye bye, people.